Hi everyone, it's Dr. Mia Lueth again. It's July 31st, 2024, 9:15 a.m. And I'm letting some people know uh, I had 72 months or so federal side with the nonprofit, and I know I did actually send via mail new address and other things, but apparently it didn't get where it was supposed to go. You understand? It, just because money isn't really what's happening entirely doesn't mean it's I'm not running a legit ministry here. The state of Maryland can verify, right? So in the state of Maryland, though, that title can only go to people who actually qualify for it, and I happen to be one of them. Right? But like I said, I can't take insurance. I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I've had some basic field medical here and there, but of course not. And so I don't claim to be. You understand? I'm not claiming to be that. And I will say, no, you should check with a doctor first. You should go get some things done first before you, right? Because the thing of it is that, yes, I know I could sense that I wasn't the only one. Well, I have nothing against Star Wars, of course not. But I noticed that it happened to me when I was watching Attack of the Killer Clones and Avatar, certain type of maybe CGI. But what I'm saying is that maybe some diagnosticians who are very good at what they do on the medical side, that may be triggering a symptom of something else. So it could be astigmatism. It could be something having to do with how your eyeballs process, right? So yes, it just made me very, very nauseous. And so of course I would not have assumed that it was like that. Of course not. Why would I? It must be something else. But that is now more likely. The probability of that's pretty high at this juncture. Right. I mean, I did eventually watch them, but you understand what I'm saying. It might be the tech that's used, and some of it may be actually like showing symptoms, not of being human, but of something that could be a little bit gone here and there, a little bit out of your comfort, but also because I think after a while I noticed that it was happening with certain types of CGI. And so, yeah, I'm not saying anybody did it deliberately. That's not what or on purpose to try and harm. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that I didn't assume anything until I saw a certain rate that used the same tech. And so, yeah, it may have been like kind of helping kind of assess certain things and helping with discernment. So, right, if anyone has difficulty with certain CGR, and I know it, right, Avatar and Attack of the Killer Clones. Okay, if you feel that way, if it may, go see a doctor. Talk to your primary care. Talk to your, okay, you're right, because it may help catch some things before it happens, and it may be that it's, yes, presenting in a way that is like actual real medical diagnostic symptomology that way. So those people, maybe you do, maybe do need a brain scan. That is all I'm saying. Right, because it's probably likely going to help you catch something before it gets worse or before it becomes something that could, you understand? So it's the only suggestion I can make there, but I always say, oh, no, I'm not one of those, and you might want to see, right, your, and if you don't have one, well, there are ways to see a doctor. I, you know, Well, I grew up around people that had difficulty trusting doctors, and I understood why, but it didn't affect me enough not to go to doctors, medical doctors, in that way, because some of them do know what they're talking about. But the only thing I can say really to either the federal or the state governments is that yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who can say even the medical side is really confused about some of these things, and maybe they didn't roll out exactly the way it's planned. And it's very difficult for patients and people who are looking to find out, is there something they can do about it? Is there something that that she stopped doing? Right, you understand. So it is a protected title, and I'm not really here in the capacity of uh, yeah, certified paranormal investigator, but I do have that certification, because usually it's not anything having to do with it. So that's the good news. Okay, that is the good news right there, right? Because most of the time it isn't. It's something a little more simple, or maybe some people may not understand the natural world or whatever. A lot of times it is not that, more often. But like I said, I do have that, and in certain cases, when it becomes difficult to kind of determine who's been leading a child, do you understand? Who's been influencing a child? That's where my discernment can come in handy. But most of them get completed and closed and taken care of before that. It's the only time that I will make myself available in that capacity. And the other thing I will say is, if for some reason the town of Elkton or whoever, if for some reason, you know, if there's some concern that Ivy Hall might be air quote haunted or have some kind of entity or something, if that is why it looks that way and people don't want to bother, then I will, because I live here, and just out of kindness, you get right proper safety inspector, right? I can at least go in and feel it out for you. Okay, so if it's nothing to be concerned about, I'll be able to tell. And if there's a little bit, I'll be able to tell. You understand? And so, right, but I doubt that it's haunted. I walk by it enough, I concentrated enough, I haven't sensed anything like that. Anytime I drive by it, I'll look at it, right? When I walk by, sometimes going back and forth. Sometimes I don't mind walking it, stretch my legs, get out, the weather sometimes will be a factor. But I mean, if that's the case, I'm simply saying just like for free, if you get, safety inspectors so I don't fall to the floor or something. I'll be happy to just walk through it if that's the reason why. Okay, I mean, I will. For that, I will. If that is why people are kind of avoiding that. I mean, I can honestly say every time I walk by it, and every time I drive by it, and every time I never pick up on anything that's within it that is particularly troublesome in any spiritual way. Right. I mean, it's depressing for me to look at. You understand why? Right. I mean, it's falling apart. It shouldn't be. But what I'm saying is, there are some who have the money and they love historical preservation, and there might be help out there, that you guys didn't know about. So Yeah, but the sign should also, the information sign should be checked on. Well, that's what I'm saying. Underground Railroad, so the Mason Dixon line, it's always a consideration. There might be, right. But also with Native Americans, right. You see what I'm saying? There maybe that could be checked again for factual, and maybe something needs to be included or reworded is all. Okay. And the retail sign needs to be removed and put outside that. Yeah, well, the, the individuals who are responsible for it are finding that out and all kinds of other things. Okay, but if that's the case, I don't mind just going in and sensing around. But I can honestly say I walk by it here and there. I drive by it. Every time I do concentrate a little and kind of feel around, and I've not yet run into anything that would be inside there that is any kind of spiritual issue. I haven't, no, I haven't felt it. But for other people's comfort, if you really would like me to just walk in and kind of sense, I'll do that freely, happily. I mean, now, but I'm not really in the capacity of, yeah, the certified right now. And the only time I will make myself available is if it's just everyone has had difficulty trying to figure out who's leading that child, who's influencing that child. Do you understand? A lot of it you can't see, and that makes sense. It's hard to determine sometimes, but that's when my discernment might come in handy for you. But most of them get closed and solved before that, so that's good news for everybody. So most of the time, it isn't what you think, and it's okay. And there are plenty of people, right? I mean, I saw someone next door, another two, who know kind of what I know about some things. I'm not, fully expert on all things cameras, but I've used so many different kinds that I do understand some of the things that can happen that looks one way or in the process of development, or right, and even in digital transfer sometimes, right, it's like background noise gets picked up a little, and that's kind of hard to explain. But okay, this is where I live, and so I don't mind if anybody feels more comfortable just having me go in and sense around if that's the issue. And I am going to say I am allowed to do this. What Mr. Larry Bathon of Bathon Builders did not recognize properly was I already made room for his daughter when we lived at 539, sir. And she took over that apartment, and I had to stay in my freaking room and hide my food. And there are policies that Upper Bay has for the Sunrise program. And just because you didn't like that, or you thought it was supposed to work differently, did not mean that you had any right to give me shit when she had to move back in with me, because she's the one who messed it all up. So I did make room for her, sir. And what I am saying is don't send that guy RFPs anymore. Also, I am saying specifically courts of law, anybody who's looking at the Bathon case, she needs a different kind of help. And the best kind of help is for her to be, yes, removed so that her father can no longer affect her. That is my professional statement. I already did, sir. You understand? And then I'm over 535. Well, that's why she likes it better, because she doesn't have to, right? And it's wrong. She, the policies, okay? Just because you don't understand how Sunrise works, sir, does not mean that you had any good reason at all to attack me, especially during the holidays, especially on that day, sir. She told me that she was going with you to get a Christmas tree. So that whole day I spent moving stuff around that living room so the corner was open so she could put the up in the living room. And instead, what happened, sir, was you guys just walked upstairs and put it in her room. You are not to be speaking to me ever again, nor, okay, because if Larry Bethan says one word to me in any threatening way, I'm getting a peace order. Do you understand? Okay? I did make room for her, sir. You are mistaken. You may not accuse me falsely. You may not speak to me. And I am suggesting to all people that, yep, find other companies to send RFPs to. You are in the wrong, sir. And you may not religiously persecute me, give me shit, because I've been helping people with PTSD, which meant I had to go through all their symptoms with them and walk them through it. Sir, you don't know a single thing. So I would suggest it is just best for you to ferme la bouche, hold thy tongue, and I am telling everyone for sure, part of Miss Young Lathon's problem is her dad. That's why I'm allowed to do this. And in the case of Mr. Ray Gordon, I did, in fact, use my former phone, which ended in what, 944 something, right, to warn her, and I spoke to her directly. It would be best if she really loved her brother to get him out of air quote Sunrise as soon as possible. So it was she who was in error and did not heed my warning. And indeed, that is what happened. He died under the care of Upper Bay Counseling and Support Services. So I would suggest that all those deaths be, yep, looked at again from start to finish. She was warned. I spoke to her directly. I said point blank, if you love him, the best thing is for you to get him out of Sunrise as soon as possible. But she did not act upon that. Also, not on me, not my fault. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I did warn her. I talked to her personally, and that can be verified. If you do not heed the warnings, I'm closed off from you. And then, therefore, you may not experience much more of life anymore. Because that's how he set it up. And nobody can change that. Yes, I did. I will provide warnings. I will say this is something you can do something about. But she also did not want to understand that Sunrise had rules and regulations, and they were just, like, oh, well, we're, entitled to come and get him without him asking anybody like he's supposed to, and blah, 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 blah. So I cut contact on both sides with her and her family, but there is one I don't have a problem because he's not a member of that family by marriage or anything. Do you understand? And yes, I mean, I do. Periodically movement disorder. It's not restless leg, though. Right. Mm, well, one of my neighbors was kind enough to drive me. So that doesn't count, even though I had to go outside. Okay, these are truths, simple, plain truths, verified every which way, witnessed every which way. And I'm just telling friendlies, like, just say no to benzodiazepines. Just do it. Okay? Then your doctor or whoever will have to look for some other different, and no one needs it. No one does. And if you try recreationally, yeah, well, you are gonna get way fucked. But in every kind of wrong, deadly way, okay? Some of them are admitting some things, you get what I'm saying? Right. And the slower learners, let me tell you, right, but here's what happened. See, some of you just thought the same old thing all the time. Sacrifice humans to me. So I did accept them for a hot second. And then just wrangled them. I'm like, that's okay, brother. Yeah, the Holy Christ, who's real and true, just open the back door for them and receive them through the back door, which allowed them the possibility to be reborn. And so on earth, I do understand where some, I understand. I do. But here's the thing, when it comes to that, okay, from human perspective, it seems like he's insane patient. And it doesn't you can't comprehend it. So you don't worry about it. Okay? That's all. Don't worry about it. But yeah, incentivized reviews, USA, that is deceptive marketing. And ignore it, but in easy way. Not allowed to happen in the US and proper territories. Don't use that as factors. People who are purchasing things. Okay? But yeah, there are some who are deceptive business practices, and in the United States, just not okay. And in the United States, the oversight for the entire country for some things comes from the Federal Communication Commission. You understand? Right. So your any internet or application or anything that is used in the United States has to follow certain guidelines, or you can't operate your work with or in the United States. Okay? So all those are all handed off, and it's up to human law. Case closed, done, I'm out. Okay? I recuse myself properly. I know that there are a few people, bands, musicians who know why and understand why, and yet that it is extremely hurtful to me, but I know how to make a command decision for the good of the whole. I'm trusted to do that. But I'm the one that can't be corrupted. So there's some peace of mind for some of you right there. Well, I'd like some peace of mind too. Right. I'm not hiding anything I'm not hiding anything from anybody. But please do not attack me, Social Security Administration. I'm simply informing you of the fact that I have personally experienced it. People trying to teach me how to pretend like I'm mentally ill, or how to pretend like I have MS, or how to pretend. You understand? So, just keep your eyes and ears open. It's also happened to me at a local social services office that was in Baltimore County. someone, leaning in, hey, I'm just going to sit this and do this, and you do this, and say this, and go talk to that one. I'm like, I really did. Just right there and then wanted to stand up and say, you get out. Okay. But I didn't. I do have greater restraint than a lot of other people. Okay. But that got beaten to me, and that's not okay. We don't do it that way. Okay. Understood. So, those of you who are losing your power, just understand a lot of it is meant just for safety protocol. And as he decides whether you used your gifts properly or not, you will know. So those kind are all going to final judgment, and that's what he's doing right now on earth. But the white eyes, mercy ends only, please. If you see young ones and they're all black, those are eye shields, protects them. Don't be frightened of them, okay? Don't be frightened of them. It protects them, protects their gates that way. Like temporary blindness, but that's why some of you don't be frightened. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, there's always young ones that happens to, but that's just as a protection. It's like eye shields. So essentially, they are blind, okay, but don't be frightened of them. They can't hurt you, okay? No, it's just for younger ones. It's like this eye shields. Sometimes younger ones they don't need to see or hear or experience certain things for a while, and it helps them help others, and it just gets misunderstood. But I promise you, they can't hurt you at all. Okay, and yeah, I that's what I'm saying. So, for some of the things that happened once it became X instead of Twitter, from there until recently, yeah, some of that was just coming through me to be checked because they kept using me like a physical psychic medium, and I'm not. Well, God knows all this, and so do a few others. So I do have plenty of witnesses there. So if it gets pointed out to me, I'll tell you. Right. So that one for Lincoln Park, I'm like, I am required to make sure they get that message. And none of you can stop the creator of all things. Okay? But I have been religiously persecuted, and that's not okay in the United States of America. And all of you who have been making t-shirts and running around and pushing, saying, oh, because we're the ones, the ancestors of the witches that you burned. Well, I got to be honest with all of you. You need to freaking check your fucking sources. You need to ask some elders. You need to shut up because that's not true. You may not spread that any further. I am the only one who was ever burned alive at the stake, and I was innocent too. But that put me there shortly before him, who was known as Jesus on earth, Yetu, and I helped him get out, assholes. I always help my family no matter what it costs me. That's what I'm saying. Some of you can help save lives just by volunteering to come help me do something so that I don't have to walk outside these doors. Because every time I do, he Well, that didn't count because my neighbor, I had to go outside to get in the car. That didn't count. My neighbor kindly did, right, drive me and so that I could get what I needed done very quickly. Okay. So that's not going to count. But every time I have to, he randomly removes a name from the book of life. That's how you can spare people. That's how you can save people. That's how you can help people, by helping me without asking for money. And really, you only have to do it once. Like, okay, sure, I'll just do my shopping this day, or I'll just do right. I appreciate Cecil County for a lot of things, actually. Yeah, and it may not be easy to see if you grew up here. Right, I know, I get it. Sometimes it's lose perspective, and I'm not worried about something. And well, yeah, I did have a little situation going on. I'm like, I went outside, and the moon was trying to hide from me. And I'm like, no, 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 come on, no, not that. We're not, no, no, no. Come on, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, technically, yeah. It took a big chunk out of the back of me there. And that takes a little while. And he shouldn't have cut my comms, though. So many are going through final judgment. I'm telling you the simple truth. It's not going to get any more simple than that. If I leave U.S. soil, though, so I think the United States of America should be making sure I'm very comfortable because I leave the U.S. and you get zero protection. And you can't keep me here no matter what you do. That is not the way to do this. The man murdered one of my children. True story. He's going to face the consequences for it. As far as I'm concerned, hey, don't give him the country club. Right. I don't care. But he's not going to get special privileges. And all former law enforcement, look at, I don't care if you used to be cops. If you're not anymore, then the only thing you should be doing in your retirement is working on cold cases. But shut the hell up, Steve. I don't work for you. And you were abusing her. Can't happen to her anymore, everybody. I removed her power. She's safe and she's out of my sidecar. My sidecar is not there anymore. He's not going to let me help you no matter what anymore. My health and my care is more important to him at this juncture. Because I've never left this side that way. And, well, clean it up, Loki, for crying out loud. Like, just leave me out of it for a while, so to speak. Okay, everybody. We're clear now. Right. Some of that was because they were trying to use me like a psychic medium, and I'm not. I'm much more powerful. I never use my full power. It's the wrong thing to do. Sometimes I just gotta let them attack me till they get freaking tired. That should not be the way it happens. And the creator of all things was kind enough to provide us with a minor correction to account for the fact that 9/11 was not supposed to happen on Earth. Also for healing and recovery for those who need it. But that is what happened. Yeah. He hid the last seal on Brett Scallions. Yes. I'm the one who has no beginning and no end. So there will always be an air of sadness sometimes for me. It happens. But a lot of times I know why, and it doesn't depress me. So, no, I do not have major depressive disorder in any way. Throw away the DSM. Yeah, you know what's wrong with them? They're human, is what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. That's right. I know. Shine down. I know. I get it. I'm like, that's right. It's just, don't worry. All symptoms of being human. That's okay. Don't compare yourself to angels. That's just stupid. Do not anthropomorphize angels, though. Okay, everybody get out of the habit of doing that. That's one you want to discourage as you go. You understand? Okay? It doesn't work that way, and he handles everyone and everything the way he handles it. But I've never made a false accusation. But I always allow that to be checked and double checked and whatever. Yeah, USA. What I'm saying is, okay, I did decide at some point, okay, well, I'm going to let some Native American elders take first, and then me. And well, a long time ago, I was nomadic that way, and so, but we always understand we give our elders first, like the first, they get what they need first, and then the rest gets distributed to family and sometimes friends if there's, you understand. So some places on earth do sort of handle that a little better, and it's just something to look at. You understand? Okay, I know lots of baby boomers. Well, when I say hi boomers, I'm not talking to them, but it is what I'm saying. There are better ways, and I'm suggesting, at least to the state of Maryland, the governor, that all those who work at any kind of place for group homes or nursing homes or rehabilitative or all those should be tested randomly. And it's not a good idea to be smoking pot on the job. Wait till you get home. Especially younger ones that skews their perspectives of things and they don't understand because their brains are still forming. It's just something he picked up on. And for the good of the people of Maryland, of course, I live here too, it's probably a good idea. Yeah, they can hate me all they want, but all that's going to do is end them more quickly. And there isn't anything I can do to help any of them anymore. But yeah, we are going to try just Elkton 21921 first, okay? So anybody who can, come here, please. And help me out for like even a couple hours or half a day. Volunteer, whatever. I'm still looking for two more board members. Okay. But there will come a time when he will decide. Not you, state of Maryland. You understand? And those who got a grace period, well, that time ended as of January 1st, 2024. So, also, final judgment. I'm allowed to I'm allowed to help guide and shape a little. I'm allowed to monitor sometimes. I'm allowed to intervene in certain cases, but he will not allow me to do that anymore. So don't be looking at me like that. I'm not those things. Okay. Yeah, some of it was coming through me and I knew it wasn't supposed to. And yeah, I did. I cleared out the air quote dead letter office. It's clear there's nothing there. So we do have now 2 storage units available. Okay. I appreciate anyone who just hits share. You don't even have to, and gets this sent out. And yes, you can actually view these at faster speed as you, right? But start regular speed, okay? And as you go, right, then try 1.5 and you'll realize you're processing a little faster. You understand, okay? So you'll be able to up pace a little bit, but then it'll kind of settle at a certain, well, some might want to call it solid state, okay? If there's really huge differences in terminology, though, I made sure that I made aware of them so that it's more clearly understood for what Gabriel's active, and he's the one who knows where all these cases should be handled, and we'll get that all out for human legal, how you guys work in your jurisdictions and all that kind of stuff. But I did. I have to force that one in. No, Homeland Security, I should have been allowed to make a formal complaint against Mr. Thomas McCabe. And there were others who came to me about it. And it's none of anybody's business, but I was aware that your biggest problem at that field site was Mr. Tom McCabe. And I would not recommend him for anything. Maybe he can take care of his kid, but it's probably because of the women. But that's a no-go, Homeland Security. No way, FBI. That shall not stand. I don't care if it's military. I don't care. That's more of an office setting. It is not appropriate in any kind of law enforcement training unless it is a specific cornered safety area where they know. Also, Officer Brandon Zambano broke a safety seal, which is highly dangerous. Thank you for getting that on the record for me. I appreciate it. And I'm done and out now. Thank you.